Hello, my name is Amber. I'm a paranormal investigator, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. How the heck does one become a paranormal investigator? How did I become a paranormal investigator? Let's talk about it. So grab a snack, sit down. I'm going to give you a rundown on how I tapped into this hobby. I've got some notes here. So if you see me looking down, reading a piece of paper, it's like my mini script to keep me in line. So if I'm being transparent here, I've recorded this twice already and I got really off track. So we've got the notes now. Let's begin here. Let's take it back to my younger years. First off, I've always been interested in the unknown, the paranormal world. This truly came from my mom. Growing up, my mom would always have paranormal shows on in the living room. She would always have Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters, The Dead Files. I've got some names here. Yes, I was scared of them, but I had such a pure curiosity that I would end up sitting down with her and watching them for hours. As I got older, I still would watch those shows, and it was a bonding experience between the both of us. I'm so grateful for because it really did shape me into who I am today and why I'm even here telling you this story. As I was growing up, she would watch those shows. And then as I was in high school, she would go out and do paranormal investigations on her own. Okay, she really did set me up to have the mindset of don't let the fear of doing something alone stop you from even trying. That's such a good quote. I just came up with that on the fly, but truly, she was like, nobody wants to go do this with me, but I have such a curiosity. I need to go and experience this for myself. So she would travel around Michigan, where we're from and where I grew up. She would travel around and investigate places and come back and tell me her stories. I was always so jealous because I'm like, oh, I want to go, like, I want to experience this. But I also was scared to death. I'm like, you're going alone? And what if you bring back something? All these fears would come up, which I've now, gotten over them for the most part. After 5 or 6 years, she would come back and tell me her stories. It truly hooked me. But a lot of these places that were holding investigations or these events or ghost hunts had an age restriction or requirement. You had to be above 18 in order to even go or buy a ticket. I waited till I was 18. My mom waited till I was 18 and invited me, my high school friend Ashlyn, and her parents to go to a psychiatric hospital here in Michigan named Eloise Asylum. I drove past this building almost my whole life. My mom and me would drive past it and be like, that's crazy. Like, this is a huge building and it's extremely haunted. And that was my first investigation. That's like way to dip your toes in the water, like throw you in. Yes, go to this asylum. Yes. Perfect first place. Would probably not recommend that as like a first place to investigate if you've never done it before. But hey, here I am, like 5 or 6 years later. I do this as a full-time hobby, like I travel around the US with my mom to this day, doing this. So I don't know, do what you want, but it's a scary place. But luckily, during this investigation, I had a good group of people with me, and there was a lot of people already in the building. So when you are investigating different paranormal locations or haunted locations, you can rent them out on your own. So it's less people that are in the building. You can rent them out and split the cost between people. You can go through paranormal groups and they will sell you tickets, and they have like a limit of the amount of people that can be in the location. Or what we did was went through the building. So Eloise Asylum had ghost hunts going on, and we bought a ticket and they rotated floors. So there's multiple floors on this building. It's huge, and they had about 20 people on each floor and a couple tour guides on each floor as well, teaching you how to use equipment, telling ghost stories, and where the hot spots are in the building. That's how it was ran. It was kind of hard to get proper evidence, but it was the experience I needed at that time. But we had dowsing rods and we still got evidence, and it really did it solidified my belief in the paranormal. Going to Eloise Asylum and experiencing what I did, we got a ball rolling in front of us on command. We could not figure out, we were trying to debunk the heck out of this. We could not figure out how this happened other than the paranormal. We were speaking with a little girl named Amanda, and I was using a ghost app. And ghost apps gets controversial, and I don't believe every ghost app works. But the ghost app, Ghost Hunting Tools, is one of my favorites. that I've used ever since my first investigation at Eloise. I bought the extra like words to add to the word bank. It does have words come up on the screen when you're speaking with a spirit, right? And I've had some crazy experiences with that app in ways that I can't explain. I can't debunk it. There's no way my phone would have picked up on these words or information. I can get into that in another video, but I was using the Ghost Hunting Tools app. We also had dowsing rods.
Is Amber holding the dowsing rods? Where's Amber's mom?
Where's Ashlyn?
There she is.
I swear to God, I'm not doing that.
Well, your white knuckle grip on that.
We had I think we had like cat balls, like light up cat balls, and other equipment that Eloise, the building, let us borrow for the night. We had a bunch of experience with that, and that really solidified my belief in the paranormal, and I was hooked. I was like, how do I continue doing this? Can I do this on a more regular basis? And me and my mom, we then realized that was a bonding moment for us. Luckily, I had my friends growing up were also into the paranormal, a lot of other things like tarot and astrology and that kind of the occult. We all bonded over that. So that did really help. Okay, I had a group of people around me that were interested in this stuff as well. I don't know if it would have been the same if I didn't have people. We were so curious and our excitement bounced off each other. The passion was not only with me, but with my mother and my friends growing up. So that helped me out a lot. Not only did she watch the paranormal shows with me, we also watched paranormal YouTubers. And one of the main ones, Sam and Colby. And this is an important piece to my story, okay? We were watching a Sam and Colby video, and they invited a group named Haunted Nights onto their video to give them a paranormal tour. We're watching this, and we're like, oh my gosh, these people hold events. They hold their own ghost hunts. You can buy tickets from Haunted Nights. Why don't we go explore this more? So luckily, in the video, they were like, here's their information. So we looked them up, Steve and Dylan, and we bought one of their tickets to go to Indiana State Sanatorium. This was the first time me and my mom really went out of our way to, we traveled to Indiana, Rockville, Indiana. This was the key to the rest of our paranormal career or our fascination with it. We met so many people. And if you don't know this place has tons and tons of buildings. It's in the middle of Indiana, and it gets really dark, and there's a lot of empty space out there. It was a little bit more spread out. There was a good amount of people at this investigation. I'll put some pictures up on the screen of when I went. And that's when we became friends, not only with Steve and Dylan, we also made connections with other people, including my friends Summer and Sienna. All of these people that I'm mentioning are still in my life to this day, and we still keep in contact. In fact, my latest video has Summer and Sienna in it. We still investigate together. These people have become some of my most dearest friends. We met them paranormal investigating, and we actually met them because they were also first-time paranormal investigators. So we kind of bonded over this newness of this hobby that we were exploring. We explored ISS, Indiana State Sanatorium. We got some crazy evidence, and I just remember being in awe over not only our paranormal experience, but the beauty of these historical places. Now, a key thing about me that you should know is I am a photographer, and I went to college for photography. I was just at the beginning of my college career because I just turned 18, just graduated high school, and it was literally the summer going into college to study photography. And while I was in college over those few years, I used these paranormal and haunted locations for a lot of my projects. Everybody knew my photography because it was always a little bit unsettling and creepy because of all of the haunted locations I would go to. I had a whole series where I did dolls on film, specifically my 35 millimeter. I would use my film camera to document all the haunted dolls in the haunted locations. Or I just love capturing the different layers of decay of a building and like learning about the history. It's way more than just communicating with ghosts for me. There's layers to this. But for my story, I had such a fascination for these buildings that were abandoned or had so much history, and just learning about the history and then having the history correlate with the spirits that you were talking with. That's always such a cool moment to have. I grew up, my mom would take me to the Detroit train station or the Detroit Central station. And for the longest time, it was abandoned and we would go there to take pictures. So this kind of theme was going on my whole entire life. But back to the story. After we met Haunted Nights, Stephen Dillon, and we met all these people during that investigation, we then started going to more Haunted Nights events in different locations. We went to Madison Seminary and we also went to Fairfield County Infirmary. We went there and it was funny because at the time I viewed these people like, oh my God, this is like, everything's new. These people are new, everything's super exciting. And I saw these people as like mini celebrities in my eyes. And I still do sometimes, but also I've been around these people for so long now that I'm like, okay, we all are just like paranormal weirdos, but in the best way possible. That's why I've loved the connections I've made on this path. We went to Madison Seminary and Fairfield County Infirmary. And I just made a video about Fairfield County Infirmary and my most recent investigation there. I go there all the time. These 3 locations are like my main locations that I go to because 1, I get good activity there. 2, I've made a connection with the building and the spirits and the staff. You know, we made connections with these locations. We got really good evidence at both of these locations, and we then started going to paranormal conventions being held at these locations. So both Indiana State Sanatorium, Madison Seminary, and Fairfield County Infirmary all hold paranormal conventions. This is a great place to make new friends and new connections, network with different people, different creators, different investigators. There is a lot of photography there. They hold a lot of people do tarot readings at these events, or psychics are there. You can buy paranormal equipment at a lot of these conventions. Yeah, it's such a great place to network and meet new people. And so that we've been doing for the past, I think, like 3 or 4 years now. And that's another way to make connections. And we did. And I've met so many cool people and people who I hold very dear to my heart. So that is another way to explore this field. But you've got to, like have fun with it. Talk to people. And trust me, I'm speaking in front of this camera right now, but I grew up very introverted and shy, and I still have that in me. Don't get me wrong, but going to these places, you start to realize that we all are just here for like majority of a common interest, and talking with people about what you've experienced or how you are passionate about these things, gets the ball rolling. Anyway, there's another thing you can do. And now we're here. To me, current day Amber, paranormal investigator. I've been doing this for 5 years now. That's pretty much the story. Okay, this is future Amber. This is future editing Amber. I also forgot to mention that one of the people we met along the way, who really shaped my paranormal journey, is Jeff Fent. He creates spirit boxes and is one of the most kind-hearted people that I ever met. He's done so much for me, my mom, and my friends, and I just needed to say that. Also, it truly just reaffirms what I said earlier. Making these connections in the paranormal is so important. So important. And also kinda is the point of living. I don't know, like all these friends and connections that we've made along the way, it's not just about the ghosts. It's about the people you meet and the connections you make, and I truly mean that. Anyway, let's get back to the video. If you would like to check out any of my socials, I will link them down below. I will also throw them up on the screen here. I post a lot of videos and photos from the haunted locations I go to on my Instagram, so I would definitely check that out. Also do post some on my TikTok, so check that out as well. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. Drop them down in the comments, and I am willing to make a video talking and answering all of your questions that you guys may have. Now, that means I have to accumulate questions first, so don't hesitate to ask any questions. In the future, I want to make some videos about some spiritual protection that you can take when investigating, and also a video about equipment and how to use your equipment and what works best when communicating with spirits and things of that sort. Things that I've learned along the way over the past 5 years of doing this, and then also experiencing it through other people and other investigators along the way. So keep an eye out for those videos because I will be making those. I think those are so important when it comes to furthering this hobby. If you have any questions for me, drop them down below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a like for me if you'd like, maybe a comment, a little subscribe, do what you want. I don't know how to end this. Thank you for watching.